No, I wasn't. Well, sorry. Prepared for this.
Those are explosions you can hear in the background of this interview with an American doctor stuck in Gaza City. She was on a mission organized by the Palestine Children's Relief Fund when Hamas attacked Israel over the weekend. Thanks for being here at 6 a.m. everyone. I'm Eric Connard.
And I'm Neda Irampour. We want to get you caught up on the latest on this conflict. We do expect to hear from President Joe Biden about the conflict in about 4 hours from now. Now, at least 900 people have died in Israel. More than 700 people have died in Palestine since Saturday.
And the White House confirming at least 11 U.S. citizens have died. Right now, major U.S. airlines are suspending flights to and from Tel Aviv. Let's get right to CBS News correspondent Haley Ott. She is live in Tel Aviv here. Haley, we understand you just had to take shelter here recently. We hope everything's okay with you. And we understand that there's been dozens of Israeli citizens Hamas has said that they've captured. And what do we know is the latest?
Yeah, and there have been a few sirens that have gone off, so if I do need to leave suddenly, I'm very sorry. But to update you on the over 100 hostages that were taken into Gaza by Hamas, that number we got from an Israeli official, those people, their fates are still to be determined. There have been horrible videos shared of grandmothers of babies that are now being held in Gaza. Hamas last night released an audio message in which it said that they were going to execute one of those hostages for every time a attack was carried out on civilians in Gaza without warning. The Israeli military has a policy of usually warning when airstrikes are going to happen. If a strike is going to happen on a building, for example, they'll let people know in some way a few minutes ahead of time. But there is a grave concern. There's been a huge amount of destruction in Gaza, 800 homes, thousands of buildings, and obviously 765 people killed, including women and children, is what we're hearing from the Palestinian authorities this morning. And in such a densely populated place, it has over 2 million people, and it's one of the most densely populated places in the world. There are concerns that as Israel steps up its retaliation, what that might mean, obviously, for the civilian population there, but also for these hostages that are also in Gaza at the moment.
Yeah, Haley, you know, a lot of people here in San Diego have ties to people there, and many are just texting, calling, trying to get contacts, trying to figure out if their loved ones are okay. What are Israelis who are living here in the U.S. doing to try to help those in their home country?
Yeah, a lot of people are trying to do what they can, are getting in touch with loved ones. And for Israelis in America or Americans who have connections to this country, they've also been mobilizing in whatever way they can. We spoke to one college student, a 25-year-old who studying business at Columbia in New York. He had come to Israel when he was 17. He's from Florida to serve in the IDF. He felt very connected to this country. That's the Israeli army. And as soon as he heard about this attack on Saturday on social media, he did whatever he could to get on a plane. And he said all of his friends did the exact same thing. And those were people across the United States. So I think he said that for a number of people, when you hear about a war or a conflict zone, your desire is to get out, get somewhere else. But for people like him and his friends who are connected to Israel, they just wanted to get here as soon as possible so that they could join in the fight.
CBS's Haley Ott with the latest live from Tel Aviv here once again for us this morning. Thank you, Haley, and do stay safe. Tempers are flaring amid demonstrations here in the U.S. You can see pro-Israel and pro-Palestinian protests in several cities yesterday. Pro-Israel protesters say nothing justifies the acts committed by Hamas, while pro-Palestinian protesters say Israel's retaliation is just another excuse to kill Palestinians.
Israel has been oppressing our people for 75 years. The world has been quiet.
What Israel is doing now is retaliation, is a war crime.
The fact that there's an outcry from us but from no one else, the fact that innocent Jews were killed in their homeland, this is 9/11, but it's in Israel.
The war has also increased tensions here in San Diego. Over the weekend, pro-Palestinian and Israel protesters clashed in Balboa Park.
Today, San Diegans will gather in solidarity with Israel. The Jewish Federation of San Diego will hold a vigil tonight. This comes after a peaceful walk at the Melvin Garb Hillel Center at San Diego State yesterday. Several people in attendance there have loved ones in the Middle East. They say this demonstration is all they feel they can do right now to show their support while they're watching the latest developments from thousands of miles away.
You see this, you don't know what to do with yourself, you feel with anger. You want to do something, but you can't. You want to scream, but you can't do nothing about it. So you go to the street, you spread awareness.
Now, today there will be a vigil. It will be at the Lawrence Family Jewish Community Center, that's in La Jolla, at 7 p.m.
All right, now we are going to be discussing the border crisis here this morning. The San Diego County Board of Supervisors will decide if they will earmark $3 million for nonprofits helping migrants. The decision comes as people seeking asylum continue to cross into the U.S., including here in San Diego. CBS 8's Regina Yarita live outside the County Administration Center now, where a vote is going to take place later there today. Regina?
Yeah, that's correct. It's supposed to start at 9 a.m. So a little bit about this. These are federal dollars that we received as part of the American Rescue Plan. The supervisor, Lawson Reamer, who we spoke with yesterday, says this is just a short-term solution until the county finds a long-term federal source for migrants.
So many of them are fleeing persecution or death squads in their home countries.
Now, this all comes as the border crisis continues and more migrants are being released into the streets in the county. County officials say border authorities are releasing 600 to 700 migrants onto streets daily, and migrants are being left to figure out where to go from there. It's why some county leaders are looking to offer more services to migrants. Lawson Reamer is supporting the proposal to allocate $3 million for migrant services. So this would go towards funding essential food, water, and hygiene products. This also includes critical translation and transportation services, as well as helping them find a permanent home. The supervisor says multiple locations for a center are under consideration. However, there are some local leaders opposed to it. El Cajon Mayor Bill Wells, he has been vocal about the migrant issues affecting his community. He questions the use of American Rescue Plan funds, which he says are strictly earmarked for pandemic-related issues. Now back here live, the vote is supposed to take place during this during the morning county supervisor meeting. And of course, for those who wish to voice an opinion, they can do so. They're going to have public comments starting at 9 a.m. I'm Regina Yarita, live outside of the county administrative building. I'll send things back to you guys.
Regina, thank you so much for that update. And now today, supervisors will also be voting on changes to a county-funded legal defense program for immigrants. Supervisors Joel Anderson and Jim Desmond have criticized this program for the small number of cases that represented immigrants facing criminal-related grounds for deportation. Supervisor Tara Lawson-Reamer says our Constitution guarantees the right to representation and a fair day in court, and to leave it to the judges to make the right call on each case.
Are $1,500 enough to keep someone from falling into homelessness? Well, that's the idea behind a homeless diversion program. County Supervisor Tara Lawson-Reamer says it's cheaper to help people with a one-time payment to make their rent or other bills than to pay for shelter beds. She says the average spent on diversion is $1,500 per client. On the other hand, the average length of homelessness is 169 days. So Lawson-Reamer says at $60 a night, a shelter bed would cost over $10,000. She says 85% of people who take part in the program remain housed. Today, she will request an additional $500,000 for this program during today's Board of Supervisors meeting. This comes on World Homeless Day. Today, county leaders and San Diegans with experience living without a home will gather to remember the lives lost on our streets. The event starts with a procession from the rescue mission and will move to the County Administration Building South Lawn. It will start at 6 p.m. All right, so right now it looks like about 65 degrees out there. A nice start to your Tuesday. Going to be a nice, comfortable fall day out there, right?
Yes, fall-like. Finally, in fact, we might be 1 or 2 degrees below normal. So long to the above normal conditions, at least for a couple of days. We are cooling slightly, and hopefully you'll enjoy a day in the 70s. Sunshine will be here. I know right now we're waking up to that marine layer in full effect across much of our county. East-facing camera showing that early morning glow. Sunrise, we still have 40 minutes to go. 6:49. Yeah, these later sunrises obviously makes the mornings kind of tough to get rolling, but hey, it's going to be a lovely day this afternoon. You have that to look forward to. For now, we do see some fog forming in Ramona. That seems to be the only area where it's sitting kind of low as you drive on through the foothills. So heads up to you. Give yourself plenty of time. Overall, we will see most of this marine layer moving on back by your lunch break. That's when you will likely see the sun, and then it all comes back later tonight and again tomorrow morning with a chance of drizzle in the mix. Onshore flow is here. That's the west winds that we get from the ocean, and that's what's keeping our temperatures a little bit cooler. In fact, today our winds are going to pick up 65 degrees, as Eric mentioned earlier, right there in downtown San Diego, 62 in Del Mar, 60 in Poway, 54 in Ramona, 55 in Alpine. So most of you are in the 60s. A few areas a little chillier than that in the 50s. Borrego right now, you're at 82 degrees. Let's show you what's going on downtown for the next 12 hours. As I mentioned, the clouds will clear eventually. Hopefully by noon you can sit outside in the sun. 71 degrees by then, 73 for the afternoon high. That's downtown. Now 73 in La Mesa as well. 77 in El Cajon, 77 in Ramona. I don't see 80s for our inland valleys. So this is all a sign that our onshore flow is kicking up. As it kicks up, we get that cooler coastal air. So that's why we are going to see temperatures staying in the 70s, not rising up into the 80s. Wind advisory though, heads up today at 2 p.m. Those winds are going to start to feel a little more intense, even on the west side of the mountains, but mainly the mountains and deserts. Gusts up to 50, sustained winds between 20 and 30 miles an hour. That advisory ends tomorrow at 11 a.m. Coming up here, I'll talk more about your forecast throughout the week and into this coming weekend as we get a little bit of a ride coming. Also, let's show you what's going on with your ride if you're headed through the border. A look at our border wait times from CBP. It's 90 minutes for that general line at the San Ysidro port of entry, and it will take about 60 minutes to get through the general line at the Otay Mesa port of entry. Eric.
All right, still ahead here, Republicans are still split on the next Speaker of the House, how the war in Israel is pressuring the GOP to move quickly. Plus, President Biden in the hot seat for his own classified documents investigation. And working for our planet, how clearing out the clutter in your home could help a classroom. Not an early riser? If you can't watch CBS 8 Mornings live, watch us on your own time on CBS 8 Plus. Add our app today to your Roku, Fire TV, and now Apple TV, and watch us on your schedule.